My mother-in-law's mother, my wife's grandmother, was Esther Baila Liss. She was the wife of the famous Chassid Liss, who learned in Lubavitch, and later he became one of the big mashpiyim. He was a Polisher, but from Poland as a kid he went to Lubavitch, and then later on he became one of the big mashpiyim. The Frierdiker Rebbe actually once by a Fabrengen said to him that Imre Bina is Fardir. The Imre Bina was a sefer written by the Mittler Rebbe with very, very hard maimorim, and most people don't even understand it. And the Frierdiker Rebbe said to him, the Imre Bina was written for you. He passed away in Samarkand, and when the Lubavitchers escaped Russia in Tovshin Vov, Tovshin Zayin, by false passports claiming that they are Polish, she and her daughter, my mother-in-law, helped them a lot. Because if they claimed that they were Polish, but they didn't speak one word of Polish, so when they crossed the border, they did a lot and they put themselves out, both of them, and they went Pashadam Mesiris Nefesh to help him. And even after they crossed the border, and then they also had to do things, and no one spoke a word of Polish, so they led some groups because they spoke Polish, and they actually went to Mesiris Nefesh for it. And one of the people that they were involved in when they went out was the Rebbe's mother. And later, when they crossed the border and they were in Poking, so she also had a strong shaykhs to the Rebbe's mother because she felt that she was able to help her, and she helped the Rebbe's mother. When I became a chassan, my future shver wanted to make the vort, my vort, in his house. He lived in Borough Park. He wanted to make it in his house. But I tained that the Rebbe wants that all simchas should be made in Crown Heights. But he tained it, it's his house. That's where he lives. He lives in Borough Park. And plus, he said that his mother-in-law, which is the grandmother, Esther Baila, it's hard for her to travel on other places. She was weak, she had a heart condition, etc., etc. So therefore, he claimed that he wants that. But I told him, no, it has to be in Crown Heights. So he said, you know what, ask the Rebbe. So I wrote to the Rebbe, and I wrote that my future shver wants to make it in his house. And also, it's because his mother-in-law, it's hard for her to travel outside of her house. But I wrote this to the Rebbe, that I feel that the Rebbe wants it to be in Crown Heights. And my shver said that whatever the Rebbe will say, that's what he'll do. So I asked the Rebbe, what does the Rebbe want we should do? So the Rebbe did this. He underlined twice the word bebeisai. When I wrote that he wants to do it in his house, he underlined twice the word bebeisai, which means that since it's his house, obviously it's different because this is where he lives. So he made 2 lines under the word bebeisai. And then he underlined the few words that I wrote that for his mother-in-law it's hard to travel to a different place. He underlined those words too. And then he added this, and he said, Val pizeh yasekein. According to this, you shall do this. Do it like that, make it in his house. And then he added, in Yiddish, Zi hotes kosher fardint. She really, really deserves it. It's an expression in Yiddish. When you want to say someone deserves something, the Lashon is Zi hotes kosher fardint. And it's interesting, Bechlal, when the Rebbe would answer on the letter itself, he would write just a few words as an answer, so he always mostly answered in Lashon Kodesh. Whether you wrote it in Lashon Kodesh, you wrote it in Yiddish, you wrote it in English, his answer usually would be in Lashon Kodesh. And here the Rebbe wrote this expression in Yiddish, Zi hotes kosher fardint. Obviously the Rebbe knew all her accomplishments, and maybe it's even connected to the fact that she had a shaykhs to the Rebbe's mother. So the Rebbe wrote Zi hotes kosher fardint. So this was the answer of the Rebbe, that he underlined the word bebeisai twice, which makes this a main reason because it's his house, this is where he lives. And then, when he underlined the words that for his mother-in-law it's hard to travel other places, the Rebbe wrote, Val pizeh yasekein. According to this, you should, in other words, when I asked what does the Rebbe want to do, the Rebbe said, Al pizeh, this is what you should do it over there. And he added the words, Zi hotes kosher fardint. And on the date that I wrote that we're planning to make the word, so the Rebbe wrote, V'yehei b'shoah tova u'mitzlachas.